Hi, welcome to the video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy, and comment your thoughts and opinions on the stories. Let's get started. Am I the antagonist for being livid at my now husband? My 33F husband, 30 male, and I got married last week. I had been super chill throughout the whole wedding planning and during the actual event, because I know shit happens, and if anything goes wrong or not exactly how we wanted, it's not that big of a deal and may even make the wedding more memorable for the guests. The one thing that I told my husband I didn't want to happen was I didn't want him smashing cake in my face. I had a suspicion that he would find it funny to do it. So during the planning, I flat out told him not to do it. I don't think it's funny. I don't want to mess up my makeup that took hours to apply. And I don't want cake on my expensive wedding dress. I told him I would be livid if he did it. He promised that he wouldn't. Well, come the cake cutting time, what did he do? Smashed the cake in my face. It got on my dress and messed up my makeup, just like I knew it would. I'm pretty sure his friends convinced him to do it. Not that that makes it any better. I kept it together, went and cleaned myself up, and put on a smile for the rest of the reception. But afterwards, I let loose on him. I yelled at him that this was the one thing I asked him not to do, and he promised that he wouldn't. He told me I was being dramatic, that it's not a big deal, and we should just be enjoying our time as newlyweds. So was I being overly dramatic? Am I the antagonist? Now for the top comments. NTAU, don't do this one thing him, does it you? I live at him, surprised Pikachu face. He wasn't even surprised. Him, it's not that big of a deal. I'm not apologizing. Don't ruin the fun, and let's just enjoy a honeymoon. What worries me isn't that he did the cake smashing itself. It is his response back to you. He should have apologized and listened to you, and really realized his mistake. Instead, he diminished your very valid feelings and reasons. Has he apologized yet? For calling you overdramatic? NTA. This exactly. Even if his friends pressured him into doing it, which is a problem in and of itself, the fact that he showed zero remorse in private afterward is completely unacceptable. I would be seriously rethinking this marriage if I were Opus. Am I the antagonist for doing the same thing to my husband as he did to me? Throwaway account as he also has Reddit. Yesterday was laundry day. My husband has a mindless habit of taking the laundry basket and putting it on our bed while he's using it. I think it's gross, but I normally don't say anything as he's a good partner and I pick my battles. I do say something when he puts the basket directly on my pillows, though. The basket normally lives in our laundry room, which is by an outside door and a litter box. I've asked him more than once to please be mindful of where he's putting the laundry basket, because I'd really rather not have dirt, litter, cat fecal matter, and who knows what on my pillow. Yesterday, there it was on my pillow. Again. Instead of reminding him for the umpteenth time, I took the basket and put it on his pillow and left the room. A little while later, he found me and asked why I put the basket on his pillow and told me how gross that was. I asked him why he always put it on my pillow then. He said it was different. Those were accidents and not malicious. I reminded him that after the first time it happened, it's no longer an accident. It's disrespectful. He told me I was being spiteful and passive aggressive, and I should have come to him. Again, I agree it was passive aggressive, but direct communication obviously wasn't working. Am I the antagonist? Edit. A lot of you are bringing up that the basket is never on his pillow. So, we have a California king-size bed with my side being easily accessed in the addresses. His side is by the wall with only enough space to get in and out of bed. So laundry is sorted on my side for convenience. As mentioned, the basket is placed many places on the bed, including my pillows, but not on his, because he'd literally have to chuck the basket across the bed to have it sit there. Edit 2, y'all. This took off. Lol. I've decided to show this thread to my husband when I get home for laughs. I apologize in that I don't think I explained the aftermath properly, that he wasn't mad at me and I wasn't mad at him. I just had enough and tried a different approach to making a boundary clear. He already told me afterward he won't do it again, but he didn't care for my approach, which was fine. I didn't care for his initial action that started this. I think the new rule will be just no baskets on the bed. Period. For everyone who had a sane and logical response. I sincerely appreciate your thoughts. Now for the top comments. NTA. And he has guts to openly reproach you for the same thing he is doing for a long time. Completely agree with you. After the first time it is not more an accident. Well played. I'm a guy that does a lot of mindless things like Op describes. But I'm generally remorseful about it, or immediately fix it. I for sure don't have the audacity to get mad at my partner for basically doing the same thing after I just did it for the 54,857th time. I also like to think I don't do things that I find immediately gross if done to me. If I did, I would just feel like a huge asshole. NTA. I bet if you keep moving it to his pillow every time he will suddenly remember not to put it on your pillow. That's the plan. But I'm thinking he got the message. Am I the antagonist for not telling my sister a certain guest was coming to a party? Fake names. Throwaway. My 27F sister Angela, 29F, got married back in 2019 to Harry. Our parents and Harry's are very close, and we've known them since we were kids. Angela divorced Harry within a year of marriage because she said he was emotionally and mentally abusive. And he also cheated. Our parents, especially dad, tried to stop Angela divorcing because they thought she was exaggerating. They blame Angela for ruining their relationship with Harry's family. I do think parents were being too harsh on her, but I tried not to butt in and keep a neutral point of view. Angela is very low contact with our parents now, and me and her talk sometimes, but it's not regular. Angela recently passed her bar exam on the first try. She told me and said to tell our parents too, which I did. They were very happy for her and invited her over to their place for their anniversary party, but that they would celebrate her exam passing too and maybe try and smooth their relationship a bit. Angela said no first, but then said she'll come for the sake of family. Now, I found out that mom and dad were planning on inviting Harry and his family to this party. Angela somehow found out. I think a friend or something told her. She called and asked me if it was true that mom and dad were inviting Harry's family. I was in a genuinely tight spot. I didn't want to lie to her, but at the same time I didn't want parents to feel as if I didn't have their back. So I said that I haven't heard anything about it, and I don't think so. Angela seemed satisfied with that answer and she came to this party, which was this past weekend. She was pretty surprised to see Harry's parents there, and they told her that they came out of courtesy in case Angela wanted to apologize, and there was still time. Dad also said that it was water under the bridge and to just apologize. BTW, this wasn't in front of other guests. It was in a different room. Angela got really mad. She said she was never going to apologize for something that wasn't her fault, and she got really mad at me. She left the party after that. Angela later messaged me saying she was hurt I'd betrayed her and it would be best if she goes no contact with all of us now. I told her I understood, but I was stuck in a hard situation as well. But she didn't want to hear it. AITA. Edit. In response to some comments. Harry didn't come to the party. Just his parents were there. Now for the top comments. AITA. I hope Angela gets far away from all of you. AITA. A victim of abuse should never be blindsided by being forced to face their abuser and then be bombarded by people asking her to apologize, especially when she's already hesitant to be around your parents who cared more about their friendship with his parents than their child who was leaving an abusive marriage. This sounds like a toxic family system tbh. Edit. To add, telling your sister they would be there would not have been a betrayal against your parents. It would have been a choice, to be honest. If they were planning on quietly bombarding her and she found out and chose not to go, that wouldn't be on you. It would be your sister making a healthy choice for herself. I would like to also genuinely encourage you to give yourself some space from you parents and look into toxic family roles. Let yourself live without accepting their input on things for a while. You might be surprised by how much you've been a pawn in all of this as well. I didn't wake up to how horrible my family was until a few months ago at 29. One side, Angela. Abuse victim. Other side, Harry. Abuser op. There are good people on both sides. Am I the antagonist for using family therapy to dump my issues? My parents called it dumping all my issues therapy, like it was a bad thing. Like we are not there to figure out the problems. Therapy is me, 17F, my sister, 12F, and my parents 54 male and 51F. I have issues with my family. Stuff that I have tried to get off my chest before, but they wouldn't listen. My parents had a second child in a 2-bedroom house, where the second bedroom is tiny, and chose to never move for more space, which meant we have shared a bunk since we were little, and we have no personal space in said room. My sister has nightmares regularly, and wet the bed until a year ago. My parents told her to get into my bed when it happened. After she washed up, she would wake me up and make me move to let her in. Then she would wet my bed sometimes, and it would even get on me on occasion. But my parents told me to be a good sister. My sister wants the perfect sister. She wants me to be her friend, who listens to everything, who wants to share a bed with her. She wants a sister who will stand up for her and give up stuff for her. Like a few weeks ago I was going away overnight with a friend. She begged me not to go because she sleeps better knowing I'm there. She started crying hysterically because I told her I wanted to go and she'd need to get used to me not being there. My sister has been babied more by our parents. I know that is a big problem with us all, and I have been called a terrible sister for it, because I don't want to be pissed on in the night, because I don't want to share a single bed, because I want space away from my sister. During the day she is normally a lot better, but nights are rough. Mornings too, and I'm tired. I don't enjoy being her sister. I don't like that she's been my roommate for 12 years. I brought all this up in therapy. My sister was embarrassed and upset that I felt this way. My parents were furious and said I dumped my issues in therapy and had no right to do that to them or to my sister. Maybe I'm crazy, but am I the antagonist? Now for the top comments. NTA. Therapy is literally there to dump issues and then discuss and manage the issues. So I think they are just mad that the therapist now knows how badly they treat you. Yep. In fact, at the next therapy session, mention that your parents were mad that you dumped all your issues, and ask the therapist if he/she could go over what is supposed to happen during a therapy session. Additionally, I'm guessing that your parents went to therapy in order to hear a therapist say that the family problem is that you're not doing exactly what your parents want with a big smile on your face while whistling a happy tune. That the therapist is doing the right thing, bringing all the family problems into the light to discuss them, is probably annoying the crap out of your parents, because they have to face the fact that they are not treating you equally to your sister and have mildly abused you. NTA. Your parents are expecting you to be the parent to your sister, and therapy is exactly the right place to talk about it. NTA. If they think you're not supposed to talk about your issues with family during counseling, then what's the point of family counseling? Am I the antagonist for not attending my stepdaughter's pre-wedding lunch? I, 46 male, am married to my second wife, 44F. We have been married for 11 years, dating for 15. She has 2 kids from her first marriage, who are now 24 and 19 meters. Their dad wasn't involved much, and I practically raised them with my wife, especially the 19 meters. I had a child with my first son, a boy, but he died from leukemia when he was 3 years old. My wife and I divorced shortly after that. Every year on the anniversary of his death we still get together, visit his grave, and have a cup of coffee together, and just talk about him. This year, my stepdaughter is getting married a day after the anniversary of my son's death. I will walk her down the aisle, and I'm super happy about it. I won't be attending the lunch 2 days before the wedding though, with both families of the soon-to-be married couple, because I will be spending that day with my ex-wife. I'm attending the rehearsal dinner the day before the wedding. The same people will be there, and at the lunch. When I told this to my wife and stepdaughter, they both got very upset about it. My wife said I'm enough for not prioritizing our daughter over a trip down memory lane with my ex. And my stepdaughter said that I disappointed her now just like her BO dad always did. My stepson is on my side, saying I will attend everything else, pay for the wedding, and have been very involved in all the planning and everything. For some info, the wedding is in 3 weeks, and the lunch was planned a couple of days ago. It wasn't the original plan, the rest was arranged months ago. AITA? Now for the top comments. NTA. Visiting your son's grave is important to you, and has been for years. Not only that, but your family knows the day you do this, has known this for a long time, and scheduled the event on that day anyway. They should have expected this. As far as your stepdaughter's reaction goes, it's unfair to say you are disappointing her like her BO dad did. She is comparing one day to a lifetime. That is ridiculous, and makes her sound like a spoiled brat. Your stepson is right, you are attending, and paying for everything else. They can allow you this one absence. If your stepdaughter doesn't like it, she can pay for everything herself. Then she can really know how it feels like to be disappointed. Agree to all of this. You need to pull your wife aside and remind her why this date is important to you. I can't believe after 15 years she would say that. NTA, your wife and daughter are ours. To say that your tradition of recognizing the loss of your young son is just a trip down memory lane with my // your / ex is unbelievable cruel. Expecting you to drop long-standing plans just because she planned a last-minute event at the same time is selfish. Saying that everything you have done for her in the past and everything you are doing for the wedding is meaningless if you miss this lunch is manipulative and entitled. I really hope this is out of character behavior for your wife and stepdaughter, and that they have both shown far more sensitivity to the memory of your little boy in the past. Trip down memory lane was a terrible thing to say, and I hope they apologize. Not the a-hole. Am I the antagonist for not giving my brother's wife a role in my wedding? Getting married in a few weeks and this has become an issue. Long story short, my brother married Gemma 4 years ago. She and I have a history. She was a bully in high school, and I was one of her targets. She bullied me until it got to the point my parents changed my school because I was struggling. I have a history of anxiety disorder as well as depression that was later diagnosed as major depressive disorder. She made me so unstable and took joy in it. From stuff about how I looked, calling me fat, ugly, disgusting, to mocking how I spoke. Because I sometimes struggled to finish sentences or talk without a stutter. 2 years after I left the school she got expelled for bullying other girls. One in particular, that it got so bad for an expulsion. And then we ended up in the same school again, and she went right back to targeting me. At the worst she said something unforgivable and disgusting and I ended up finishing high school at home because of it. I also started suffering panic attacks again after it. So it turns out she had a rough family life and she ended up having a breakdown a couple of years after we both graduated. My brother met her again while she was working on becoming a better person and they ended up falling in love. It hurt me deeply that my brother could fall in love with the person who did what she did to me. He told me she was a different person, that she had changed and grown. He made me listen to an apology from her and then it was suddenly like that should be it and we were now family. It's not that simple for me. I can understand she had a rough past. See that she does seem to be a better person. But I still hate her for what she did to me. Mostly for what happened that meant I had to leave school and started having panic attacks again. It's also hard for me with my brother sometimes. Knowing he believes he can absolve her of what she did to me. Believing that I should treat her like I love her. My wedding has now become a hot topic because my brother was asked to be a groomsman by my fiance and Gemma has not been asked to do anything. She's just a regular guest, an unwanted one, admittedly, but one who is there all the same. My mom and brother asked about Gemma being a bridesmaid, but I turned it down. But what really started this is my brother found out my fiance had a couple of friends he would have asked to be groomsmen. But because we needed the numbers, even and because I would never ask Gemma, he decided not to. My future brother-in-law blabbed, now they are saying I'm an asshole for not including her in some tiny little way and making it seem like she's not part of the family. My dad told them it was too much to ask of me, and that part of being a better person for Gemma is accepting that she and I will never reach a better place. So now my dad is in the doghouse too. Am I the antagonist? Now for the top comments. NTA, your dad is spot on. If Gemma is a new person, this person can understand the misery she inflicted on you and realize she must work to make amends. You owe her nothing, and she owes you significant time and patience to try to earn your forgiveness, which she will never be entitled to. Best of luck for a happy wedding day. Yeah, if she has changed, then accepting being a guest at the wedding shouldn't be a big deal. Heck, now she doesn't have to spend money on certain things, so she should be happy. NTA, and neither is your father. Your brother needs to understand that he is lucky his wife is even invited, and back off. He can be replaced as a groomsman, and you are under no obligation to hang out or even forgive your tormentor. Congratulations on the upcoming nuptials. How the brother has thrown his toys out of the pram to manipulate Op. I think she's fine by removing both the bully and brother from the wedding completely. I'm siding the mother too. She is invalidating Op's feelings.